So, when I say the word wealthy, what's the first number that jumps into your mind? $1 million? Maybe six figures? Most of the financial gurus, they point to these huge, far-off goals. But what if the real secret, the actual game changer, is a much smaller, way more important milestone, one that could completely change your entire relationship with money? Let's get into it.
What if I told you the real starting line, the point where the whole game actually changes, is a number most people just blow right past? It's a number that can seriously separate the people who build real wealth from those who spend their whole lives just trying to keep their head above water. All right, here it is. That number is $20,000. And I know that might not sound like a lottery win, but believe me, crossing this specific threshold is the first major barrier that, once you break through it, shifts literally everything. It's the financial turning point where the rules of money finally start to work for you instead of against you. Okay, picture this. You're pushing this giant boulder up a really steep hill. That first part, getting started, it's just a brutal, slow, exhausting grind. But once you get that boulder to the top of the hill, that $20,000 peak, it starts rolling down the other side, and it starts picking up speed almost all by itself. And the real magic here, it's not just about the math. It actually starts inside your own head. The first, and honestly probably the most profound change, is all psychological. It's about shifting your brain from a constant state of survival into a mode of growth and opportunity. See, when you've got no financial buffer, your brain is basically trapped in survival mode. Every single decision gets filtered through fear and scarcity. You take the first job you're offered, you stay in a bad situation way too long, and all your mental energy is just gone. It's consumed by immediate threats. But once you have that $20,000 cushion, you get to switch into growth mode. Instead of asking, how do I survive this week, you start asking, how can I grow this? You go from just reacting to life to being proactive about it. And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea. It is literally measurable. Research from Vanguard actually shows that having just $2,000 in savings boosts your sense of financial well-being by over 20%. Bump that up to a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, which for a lot of people is right around that $20,000 mark, and that feeling of well-being jumps by more than a third. You've basically bought your brain enough breathing room to actually think clearly. And this is how your whole perspective on everyday life just completely flips. A car repair? It's not a financial disaster anymore. It's just an annoyance. Your laptop dies? Well, it's an excuse for an upgrade. A friend comes to you with a business idea? It goes from being an interesting thought to a potential investment that you can actually consider. See, the opportunities were always there. Now you can finally see them and maybe even act on them. Okay, so it's not all in your head. Beyond the psychology, the cold, hard math of building wealth, well, this is where things get really exciting. It starts to accelerate in a big way. That first 20 grand, man, that's the long haul. Saving $1,000 a month, it'll take you about 19 months. But then look what happens. Your second $20,000 takes only 17 months. Why? Because your first 20K is now out there working for you. This is the power of compounding in action. And it just gets crazier. Fast forward to when you have $400,000, that same $20,000 jump now happens in just 5 months, and it's mostly from your investments growing. And the secret here isn't some fancy, exclusive investment strategy. Nope, it is simply the power of scale. A 10% return on $2,000 is $200, which is nice, but it's not changing your life. But that same 10% return on $20,000, that's $2,000. Now that is money that actually starts to move the needle. Let's make that even more real. An 8% return on your $20,000 foundation? That's $1,600 flowing into your account over a year. Money that just showed up because your existing money was put to work. This is the moment when passive income stops being a buzzword and becomes a real thing in your life. But this foundation, this 20 grand, it does more than just grow your investments. It completely flips the script on the biggest wealth building tool most of us have, our career. This brings us to this awesome concept called walking away money. Think about it. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're basically trapped. You can't negotiate hard for a raise, you can't push back on a bad idea, you can't leave a toxic job because you absolutely need that next paycheck to survive. Well, that $20,000 cushion completely changes that dynamic. And what this does is it kicks off this amazing positive feedback loop. You build savings, which gives you confidence. That confidence lets you negotiate better, which helps you earn more.
And earning more, well, that just accelerates your savings, which boosts your confidence even more. It just keeps feeding itself.
And the craziest part, you often don't even have to touch the money. Just knowing it's there, sitting in the bank, changes how you carry yourself at work. You become more assertive, you're more willing to take on challenges, and people, especially the people in charge, they notice. It's like having a secret superpower that reshapes your career from a position of pure strength.
All right, this new position of strength all leads to one final, really crucial shift in your mindset. You stop sweating the small stuff and you start focusing on the big picture decisions that truly build your financial future.
Before you hit that milestone, your brain is just consumed by these micro decisions, right? Should I buy the generic cereal? Can I really afford this coffee today? These little choices, they take up a ton of mental energy, but in the grand scheme of things, their impact is pretty tiny.
But once you've got that foundation, you start to realize, wait a minute, all my energy is better spent on these things, the macro decisions, things like optimizing your housing costs, figuring out how to maximize your income, your overall investment strategy. These are the levers that can swing your net worth by tens of thousands of dollars. You stop agonizing over the price of bananas and you start thinking like a CEO of your own life. And this is where you start to really understand a powerful concept, opportunity cost. Instead of just asking, can I afford the monthly payment? The real question becomes, what future wealth am I giving up by making this purchase today? And wow, this is where it really hits you. That $30,000 car, it isn't just a car. It's over $200,000 that you won't have in your investment account 2 decades from now. All of a sudden, a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice, does it? It feels like a smart, strategic choice that's funding your future freedom. So this brings us to probably the single most important point of this whole thing. So many people hit this number and they immediately reward themselves. They go on a big trip, buy a car, and they blow up the very foundation they just worked so hard to build. That $20,000, it's not the finish line, it's the launching pad. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's the pivotal shift from being a passenger, just reacting to whatever life throws at you, to becoming the architect, the person who intentionally designs their own future. So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Take a look at your finances. Is your money just buying you things? Or is it buying you options? The freedom to choose, the security to feel safe, the power to say no. The answer to that question, it changes everything.